everyone. I hope that you're all doing as well as can be in these times and that your loved ones are keeping well as well. It's been a really long time since I've done a video, and that's really only because it takes me a long time to upload them and edit them, and my software was glitching and crashing because I don't have good equipment really. I'm working on like a 5 or 6 year old laptop that's not built for gaming and doesn't really have like all that much capacity for vlogging. Hopefully, at some point in the future, I'll be able to have a little bit more income to spend on good equipment to do better videos. But I just wanted to check in for the moment. I'm just sitting in front of my crappy laptop camera. I look a bit fuzzy. Hopefully that will be fine. And very tired. COVID face. um, yeah, strange times, guys. I really, it's so overwhelming, and I know that we're all feeling that way, and we're all in that boat. And you know what? That is okay. It is completely overwhelming, and it's okay to feel completely wired and anxious, and like you don't know your arse from your elbow right now, and that you can't work and you can't focus. That is fine. I have somehow miraculously ended up being quite productive in the last couple of weeks, but you can see how tired I'm feeling. It's like, so bad. And I think that for me, that's an anxiety response for sure, just to keep being busy and keep starting new projects and just, yeah, keep going and like don't stop and think about what's happening. And that's gonna burn me out. So I have to be really careful. I've already had a little couple like a cold sore flaring up and much more pain and sort of fibro flare ups, and weirdly like my joints click more sometimes when I'm stressed. Anyway, so right now I've just had the kind of peak, the highest point of progesterone in my monthly cycle as well, which makes my body a lot looser with my hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So yeah, I'm just taking it easy a little bit over the weekend. I'm so looking forward to just trying to come down a little bit. Um, how are you? I hope you're all doing okay. It's a really worrying time for anyone in the arts, for everybody, not just in the arts. Most of the people I know are in the arts, and it's an absolute shitter of a situation. Obviously, it's looking like we're going to be invited by HMRC to apply for financial relief and support in this fuckfest. Oh, but we don't get to do that until June because that's bureaucracy for you. And meanwhile, millions of people are falling through the gap. And once again, society is choosing to support only those who can create for themselves a high enough income and profit from their work. A lot of people have just started up maybe in the last couple of years. Like me, I've changed direction with my career. So I was freelancing in PR and events and publishing and doing quite well at that, managing my fibromyalgia at that point. But yeah, I had like a really bad breakdown in my health 3 years ago, kicked off, no less, by a viral infection that got into my asthmatic chest. Fun times. And I never recovered. So there's another reason for us all to be shitting bricks about COVID-19. Um, the government's not really having that conversation around healthy people. The fact that this virus, if it gets them, could turn them into lifelong unhealthy and sick people, which is scary and it's horrible, but it's true. It was a virus that kind of kicked off everything for me, unfortunately. And it's, since kind of led to various other diagnoses. My generalized anxiety disorder and my hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos has come to light since then. I'm now chasing assessment for spectrum issues, disorders as well, which is starting to make a lot of sense. That's the story for another day. But yeah, it's weird being in a situation where everyone else is suddenly living my life as a disabled, chronically ill person who is forced by a system of oppression and inequality to be in a position where I cannot financially earn easily at all, and therefore haven't earned any more than 6 grand in the last 3 years, which is not a good number. It is so weird to see the whole rest of the world being in that situation now and not liking it and writing about it and going, wow, this is day 3 of my self isolation. I'm going insane. Oh, like I'm not being paid. I'm really worried about like how to pay for my bills and what's gonna like where my next paycheck's gonna come from. Like, welcome to my life. Welcome to the disabled life. This is what people on low income and living with disabilities and who are older as well are dealing with on a daily basis. And it's because nobody's awake enough to the way that the government treats these people and demonizes them and actually deliberately feeds a very forced narrative around these people being scroungers and scum and draining the taxpayers when the reality is that the majority of us don't see squat of financial support. Although I'm unable to work full-time hours or in a normal job, I can sit and write at my desk and I can contribute that way. I can create work, I can interview people and share their work. I can sort of try to be analytical of society and arts and all of these things and kind of like share my opinion and engage in the wider discourse. But that's really the max of my capacity. And I can also wash myself and feed myself. So the government doesn't think I'm sick enough to get any financial support at all, um, which really distills your value solely down to your ability to earn money, which is weird because they're perpetuating a system where I can't easily do that because most working situations are inflexible. If you can't work a certain amount of hours, you're out the door. Or maybe you are going to let someone down if you're on a bad day and you can't fulfill a deadline for a project. It's a very difficult position to be in. So, yeah, it's sort of almost a weird kind of sense of solidarity that I'm feeling with the rest of the world. Like, suddenly I feel like they're on my side, and for a really long time, it's felt like everyone else is against those minorities. So everyone else thinks that disabled people are like second class citizens, or poor people are second class citizens, or older people are second class citizens. When in fact we're realizing that we are all united by the single reason that we are humans. We are humanity, that's what connects us all. And that's what's important. And people are realizing, hey, universal credit is nowhere near enough for anyone to sustain any kind of decent way of life or living. What's going on here? And they're in uproar, quite rightly. Um, but still, people like us are falling through the gaps. So, like I said, I've not earned or been able to earn, to be clear, um, more than £6,000 in the last 3 years. I have been building up my writing portfolio. I have written a novel, which was the best part of 2 years for me of research, development, writing, editing, pitching, querying, which is the stage I'm now at. And that's not unusual. The actual basic draft sort of came together within 3 months, but there's a lot more that goes on around that. And I've been trying to do other work. I obviously write various things in creative nonfiction and sort of getting more involved with journalism and various things. So anyway, but yeah, I having 80% of £6,000 paid back to me broken down over a 3-month installment. If you see what I mean is I mean what I don't know. I think that's something like 60 quid a month, which is definitely money I would take, and it's not to be sniffed at. And it is good that that help is there, but I feel like the government is being willfully ignorant of the fact that the majority of people in things like the arts and these kind of more creative sectors are those people whose profits that are being recorded by HMRC are not high enough to sustain a way of life. And, what happens again, it's the disabled and the poor and the marginalised voices that are falling through the gap, perpetually being left at the bottom of the rung. very deliberately a universal basic income, £2,000 a month to every citizen would be more cost effective, it would be simpler, much more immediately reactive, much more timely in preventing catastrophe and enabling people to pay their bills because there's no rent freezes coming yet. Enabling people to buy food without going to a food bank in a crisis where we're all self-isolating and social distancing. So my head has been in a very kind of messy, cloudy place where I'm feeling this weird solidarity on one hand and this complete and utter disparity and inequality on the other. And I don't know how to make that meet. I don't know how to bridge the void, if you see what I mean. And it's a bit of a head fuck. And I think we're all in that position. If you are a person who has a voice at all, I implore you to please use it. Engage in a general discussion with the people around you in demanding better and waking up and realizing that it is well within the means of our government to provide a universal basic income for every citizen, and that actually a comfortable, secure baseline financially for every citizen should be a right, and it certainly can be provided. There is a kind of feeling, obviously, that power likes power and likes to perpetuate power. And, we're in a system where we don't want to give autonomy to the people because, oh my goodness, like then our power diminishes. And that's a system that we've lived in for a very long time. But, there are other countries that, are doing similar things. And in fact, a lot of European welfare models are much more similar to that of UBI, and they do it very successfully. So take heed and take heart. It is possible. We are living in completely wild and unknown times to us, and those are the times to be loud and to stamp your feet and to ask for change and to fight for progress and to fight for equality and shared humanity. We are compassionate and empathetic beings as much as an individualistic society has tried to stamp that out of us, because the more narrow-minded, self-centered and bubble-minded that we all are about our own specific situation, the less connected we are. And the less connected we are, the less powerful we are as a community and as a society. And actually, through these times, through digital technology, we are reaching out to each other to try and make things better. Don't feel fear. Change, the best change and the biggest change, always comes after massive economic shift and change. I don't see this time as being any different, and I think that there is a golden opportunity there for us to grab. But we have to keep demanding it. We have to be loud. We have to use our voices. Get together, see what you can organise. What kind of groups can you organise? Email your MPs, your MSPs. Start a conversation and make sure that people are hearing that we are awake, that we know that we can have this, we know that it's better. I've been diving into Utopia for Realists by Rutger Bregman. I've also been reading Crippled by Frances Ryan and Lost Connections by Johann Hari. I'll try and link them all in the description box below. Those are 3 books which we should, all of us, be reading right now. I encourage you to purchase these, please, from your local independent bookshops online. Don't go to Amazon. Just don't go to Amazon. They're actually prioritizing essential items at the moment anyway, so you're not going to get your books that quickly. Your independent bookshops need you right now. These are the hubs that facilitate and ignite community voices. If you're here in Edinburgh like I am, Lighthouse Books, my number one. They're a radical bookshop. They will do you a solid. Golden Hair Books, the Edinburgh Bookshop as well. Toppings, Portobello Bookshop. Yeah, and there's been a great blog post recently on the Bookseller by Ellen Desmond, who is one of the publishers for Monstrous Regiment, detailing kind of how to support indies in general. If you go to Edinburgh Creative City of Literature, Edinburgh City of Literature, sorry, it's a UNESCO website. They are kind of detailing how you can support people in the arts, publishers and such as well. This is happening in your community, in your area, wherever you are. You will be able to Google it or find links for it on Twitter, I'm sure. I've been talking for quite a long time, so I think I'm going to wrap up, but I just wanted to kind of check in with everyone and just share my thoughts and just say it's exhausting. We're all in the same boat and we all need to be there for each other. And I am there for you. You can, get hold of me on Twitter, speak to me on there, have a chat if you get anything you want to talk about or concerns or collectives that you're organising that you want to shout about. Now is obviously the time. Um, I am still doing some of my own personal creative writing. A wee bit of poetry has been coming out of this. A couple new screenplays for little shorts as well, which is quite nice. I think it is important to try and allow yourself creativity without pressure. It does not have to be a work product. It can just be about you getting out whatever you need to get out. And of course, we're all exhausted. I am pretty sure I'm going to fall completely flat and do nothing creative probably for weeks at some point. As I say, anxiety's been kind of getting me there for the moment. So, anyway, strange times. I hope that you are taking care of yourself and that you have someone there. If anything, I think that it's made us aware of how much we actually do have in common just by being humans living together in a society. And I really hope that all of this communication and support continues after this is over. Um, if there's an after this. I know it feels really scary right now, but we have to have hope and we have to have resilience. With no further ado, friends, I'm sending you all love and I'm sending light. And I will speak to you soon.